it's a vibe. Don't know, yeah. Don't know, it's a vibe. Don't know, the juice poured up, and I know it's a vibe. Like rolling with a animal vibe. Said I need more drink inside of me, like bring more cup. Cause right now it's a vibe. Don't know, yeah. Don't know, yeah. Don't know, yeah. Don't know, yeah. Don't know, it's a vibe. Don't know, it's a vibe. Don't know, yeah. Don't know, it's a vibe.
Excuse the cheesy intro, but you know when you see Arth and Zeus in the building,
let it play.
It's 100% vibe. So yes, I know I've done it. I gave you a little bit of cheese, excuse the pun, but it will be a vibe tonight. We are here on episode 3, Spurs fans near and far, with your cock boys, Zeus and Arthur in the building. We are dissecting Tottenham's next 4 games, the Blueprint episode 3. But before we get into it, it's going to be really exciting tonight. I'm going to, Zeus, how you feeling? How you been? You remember the last show? How have you been since? How was your Christmas and Happy New Year?
Yeah, man. Happy New Year to you too. Christmas was all right. Christmas and New Year were all right. Checked out some stuff here in Toronto, like some stuff around the city. But, feeling really good about Spurs. The results, the Christmas results were dope. They surpassed my expectations considerably. Especially with the injury with Romero and all that. And also we're like bringing players in early in the window, which is crazy. So it's all happening at Spurs, isn't it?
Mate, it's happening, and people are starting to feel scared, and they're shaking their bum, but they're shaking their bum out of fear. And I'm like, that's right, shake your bum and be scared, because Tottenham is coming. But look, let's not get into it. Arthur, Happy New Year, mate. How was your Christmas? Happy New Year. How have you been?
Yeah, good. Thanks, man. Happy New Year. I had a good Christmas, just a family Christmas. To be honest, I usually hate New Year, right? I usually hate the whole new beginnings, be better, improve yourself. I start reflecting on how old I'm getting and what I haven't achieved and all that shit. But when my emotional well-being is so closely intertwined with Tottenham, I love it. Because at the moment, I've just started a new year and I'm buzzing. I was happy with, that we scraped through some games, let's be honest, but it was good to see that side of us as well. And I think we had a good output, good number of points for Christmas games. It's pretty solid.
100%. And I think the Spurs fans, the Spurs faithful, are demanding the blueprint, because if you remember in episode 1, we gave our first 4 predictions. And I think Zeus was the closest with 4 points. That came to pass. And then this time round, I'm happy to say, Arthur, you were the closest, because Zeus went with 8 points. You said between 9 or 10. And I was pumping my chest, violently shaking my bum for my club. I went with 12 points. And to be fair, I just want to quickly just get your views on the whole Christmas period, the whole run-in. Given that quite early on, we lost Romero again. You know what I mean? Bissouma wasn't available for a few games because of the red card. And I'm thinking, you're killing me, Arthur. I mean, given the circumstances, does it make the achievement of 9 points in those 4 games even better? Because I would argue I probably would have been right had Romero and Bissouma still been in the squad. I reckon we don't get slapped up by Brighton, but I don't know, Arthur. It'd be good to hear your thoughts.
I'm amazed by how well we've done. I'm amazed that at this point of the season, with everything that we've gone through with injuries and suspensions, losing Harry Kane 2 days before the season started, all of that we are 1 point off the top 4 and 6 points off the actual top of the Premier League. I mean, it's mad. It's absolutely mad. Like, obviously, every team has injuries. Every team has suspensions. And I'm not comparing us to anyone. I'm not saying we've had it worse or better or whatever. But I cannot remember in living memory having had no centre backs for so many games and playing 4 fullbacks across our defensive line, with a goalkeeper who's only just started his career in the Premier League, with a 21-year-old left back, with a right back who everyone said couldn't play in a back 4. Yeah, with Emerson Royale, who only a year ago everyone was booing off the pitch.
Yeah.
And Ben Davies, who people said we shouldn't even have him in the squad because he's a has-been. Like, that's insane. And that, to me, is the most exciting thing about it all, is that all of these challenges, all of these players that are playing out of position, that are learning different ways, it just means that we are so solid in the future. It's good that we've had these challenges right now. It's good. It's not enjoyable when we're losing Maddison, losing Van der Ven, but there are players that stepped up, and now next time they need to step up. We're like, okay, we're in solid hands. That's proper pleasing.
100%. I'm not gonna no ad libs here. I'm going straight to you, Zeus.
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, I said at the beginning of the season, just get the football right. That's what I wanted. And obviously, they've gotten that. Well, for the most part, they've gotten that. But the way things are shaping up, man, I'm thinking title challenge, like, for real.
Of course, say it, bro. Say it with chest. Don't be apologetic. Say it with chest.
Nah, I mean, I don't want to raise my expectations and then be let down again. But man, the way, like, the squad was completely wrecked, losing 4, 5, of your first 11, of a big part of the first team right away is insane. And to still be there or thereabouts is ridiculous. Like, I mean, he should just get manager of the season right now for the job that he's done. But it's like insane. And the things that we talked about in terms of where the squad was lacking, they're fixing it. Or at least now we have a, well, quote unquote, guaranteed start on the left. At least we have pace on the left of the attack while Son is gone. Like, that's there, right? And we needed another center back, and that's there. And all the squad players, the Ben Davies, Royale, the guys who know they're not first choice. I assume that they know they're not first choice, but have come in and like done a pretty admirable job stepping up. Like, those guys, they need to be celebrated. Like,
come on,
I can imagine me as a player. Someone's like, well, yeah, we might sell you off, we might push out another team kind of thing, but you're still coming out and filling in, playing in foreign roles. Like, I really rate those guys, the Ben Davises and the Royals.
Come on.
Yeah, those guys are top line.
Funny you say that. I did a TikTok the other day where I was talking about Ben Davies and Emerson Royale, just saying people just needs to put some respect on it. Emerson Royale's played 3 different positions this season: left back, right back, centre back, and we're getting the job done. We are 1 point off the scum. Can you imagine 1 point? And they've had a full team. The only players that have been missing is Timber and Partey, really, in their starting 11. They've really had their team to play with. We haven't had. But before I'm gonna get into that, big up to everyone in the chat, Talking Bear, Alan Bennett, Here to There, The Assembled. Do you know what I mean? Jonas C, AFC always. Big up to you. Thanks for being in there and being active. I just want to say, I was on a show with some Arsenal fans the other day, and they made me laugh, because sometimes when you're doing these streams, Arthur and Zeus, you can be made to feel like you are nuts. You can be told in the chat that you're delusional, you don't know what you're talking about. At the beginning of the season, I said that I reckon Tottenham has a better squad than Arsenal, and people laughed at me. Look at him, he's clickbait, he's delusional, dead, all sorts of things happening. Just last week on the terrace, Arsenal fans are now admitting that Spurs have a better squad depth than Arsenal. Can you imagine this? Can you imagine that they're now rating Højbjerg? They're now rating Lo Celso better than what they can bring on. But they were cussing me and laughing at me a few months ago. But I have to say, I agree with you. Postecoglou, people try to shut me down, but you can see with your eyes that this is a top manager. I put my hand up. I wrote him off at the beginning of the season. I didn't rate him. I wasn't sure. I bought into the narrative. But this guy has proved no other team apart from Newcastle has suffered the level of adversity as we have, I don't think Arsenal would be in the top 5 if they suffered the level of suspension and injuries that we have. I don't think Man City would be. I don't think Liverpool would be. So Postecoglou is showing us that he is an elite manager. And over time, I think we say not Pep and Klopp, but I think we say Pep, Klopp, and Postecoglou, because I feel like his achievements is massive. And just remembering that these are players that even us Spurs fans wrote off. If someone told me that a year later I'd be shaking my bum for Emerson Royale, I would have slapped your face and said you must be in delusional land. But he's made Emerson Royale play good. And the marker of a good manager is him taking average players and squeezing every last juice out of them. And he's done it with more than one player. He's squeezing every last juice out of Ben Davis. He's squeezing every last juice out of Emerson Royale. He's squeezing every last juice out of Lo Celso. He's squeezing every last juice out of Højbjerg. He's bloody squeezing out juice from Richarlison, mate. Richarlison's got 6 goals since we've last spoken. And, dare I say it, before his injury, Veliz, when he came on against Brighton, was looking very sharp. I mean, mate, I don't want to hear about Aston Villa. I don't want to hear about Newcastle. Tottenham is the best team in the Prem right now, and it's unfortunate that we lost Madders and Van der Ven. Because I kid you not, if that debacle didn't happen in the Chelsea game, we would be top. I swear it.
This is where he proves that he's such a good manager. This is the best thing for him in the long run at Spurs. This is where everyone buys in because they see all of the adversity and everything he's doing with the players. And you're right, that he takes an average player, but an average player with a really good mentality is not an average player. And that's his whole stick, right? That's his whole thing. He's so good mentally with the players. And the reason why Arsenal couldn't have dealt with the squad, aberrations that we were dealing with is because of their manager. Like, he's a good manager. He's an intelligent guy. I don't like Arteta, obviously, but he's a really smart football guy. But he is always the victim. His team is always the victim. They're always hard done by. It's always going against them. Postecoglou just says, just get on with it. Just get on with it. Don't waste the energy in feeling sorry for yourselves. And that's why our squad looks better and more deep than Arsenal's. That's probably the only difference, is that you go, oh, all these players know exactly what their manager wants and they're just fighting for him. And that's what makes him, you're right, up there with Klopp and Guardiola. He is. Yeah,
100%. Look,
and he's
in
ours.
the chat. Huh?
And he's ours.
And he's ours, mate. And he's ours. Look, I'm not going to lie. Levy pulled off a masterstroke. Whether it was deliberate, whether it was intentional or unintentional, it's the bloody masterstroke. It's the best thing that's happened to us. I think quickly, because I want to talk about the signings, and it's coming up in the chat. Don Paratici truly is a Don, because this guy is a madman. This Dragusin, let's talk about the Dragusin turning down Bayern Munich. People in the chat used to say, when I used to say I don't rate Europe, it's a dusty league. It's not the same at Premiership or nothing. They were like, Deji, how can you say that? The Bayern Munich's of this world, there, blah, blah. You just seen it in the Dragusin transfer. He picked Spurs over Bayern Munich because he wants to play in the best league in world football, and he wants to play for one of the best teams in the world, in Tottenham Hotspur. That's why he can turn. Look, Bayern Munich took Eric Dyer, and I'm not going to comment about that. I think it was a great bit of business by Spurs. That just shows you the level of the two leagues. But as a signing, Dragusin looks like another Van der Ven, in my opinion. Maybe not more another Romero. And he's coming in time for the Man U game, and we're going to talk about that. But I think Don Paratici, let's put some respect on him. Let's put some respect on Levy, all those naysayers. I didn't like Levy, but he's brought in Lunge. He's got Paratici in the background. And those two guys are madmen. They're going to go out and get us the best players. Zeus, and then back to you, Arthur. Is it fair to say maybe Levy's cracked the Da Vinci Code here? Because you look at Lange and the job he's done at Aston Villa, You look at Paratici and the job he's done with Spurs. Your doggy. I mean, he's given us championship level, Premier League title winning players. Your doggy can play for City. Bentancur can play for City. Kulusevski can play for City. I mean, right now I'm just shaking my bum violent because I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm so excited. Oh, did Levy get it right with these two lads, bringing them in?
Okay, so Udogie, I think, is, to me, fantastic. Like, world class. So he's bang on. Bentancur is up there. He's probably our best midfielder, maybe, when he's healthy. Kulusevski, I'm not completely sold on. His first season was great, but since then, I'm not 100% sold on. Dragusin, I'm not one of these guys who watches clips and all that stuff. So the jury's still out. But in terms of, I mean, his batting average is high. Paratici's batting average is high from getting players from Italy, which is fantastic. But I'm not going to celebrate him just yet because you've seen someone like Erik ten Hag and his focus on Ajax players, right? And that hasn't worked out well. I mean, you know what? I take that back because he's buying players from Ajax for crazy money, and we're getting very, very good deals. So just in terms of, a serviceable player, a serviceable defender for 25 million guaranteed, that's a good bit of business. So the business side has been fantastic, which, people always slate the club for, we need to spend money, you need to spend money. But no, we're not that club that's going to splash $1 billion, 50 mils. Well, I guess we did. Well, we're not City. We're not going to spend that kind of money, right? But these are good deals. These are good business deals that I'm in support of. And the jury's still out, but at least we've solved gaping problems. We've gotten a serviceable center back. That
serviceable, man. More than serviceable.
More than serviceable. Like, has some pace, I would imagine. Like, he's definitely faster than Eric Dyer, right? Is that fair to say? He must be.
Nah, mate. This guy could even.
Why do you guys like Dyer so much? Dyer's just not fast.
I'm not hating on Dyer, but Dragusin. We're not talking Dyer with Dragusin under the same breath. We're talking Romero and Dragusin. Like them two are fighting for a position.
Okay, I hope it'll be good. Maybe Romero can temper his his rushes to the head and all that kind of stuff. But it's good now. At least we have 3 quality center backs, and I still rate Ben Davis. He can always come in, right? So I mean, props to the Don. I don't know how he's still working, even though he's been banned internationally and all that. But
don't say anything.
But yeah, you got to give him his props, and I guess this is kind of the when you want to get a football team, right? There's a lot of stuff happens behind the scenes, like personal networks, your friend of a friend, all that kind of stuff, which you think shouldn't affect transfers, but your network is your net worth, so to speak, and I guess that's kind of playing here with Don Paratici.
Love him, Alpha.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's inarguable that the transfer business since he's come in has been brilliant. It's been amazing. I mean, it feels like when you look at transfers in general, it's almost like a toss of the coin. It's like 50% work out, 50% don't work out. Yeah. And we're not working in those sort of percentages with this. Like Jed Spence is probably the one. Like, I mean, obviously we still want more from Richarlison, but he has been effective the last few games. He's in the squad. He's, clearly the manager that we all like and trust. Clearly he sees a lot of impact in Richarlison beyond his goal output. So I think he's done brilliantly. And yeah, he's obviously gone into the market he knows really well in Italy. But we've got Porro from Lisbon. We've got Richarlison from the Premier League. We've got Werner just now from Germany. Like we're going where we need to go. And it sounds a lot like Johan Lange was involved a lot with this Dragusin deal. Yeah. And I think, I mean, if you criticise Levy quite rightly for all the things that he needs criticism for, and I don't think I'll ever forgive him and any of the chairmen of the big 6 clubs for their involvement in the European Super League. I think that for me and on its own is unforgivable, but that doesn't mean that he can't then do effective things, he can't then still do good things. And it feels as though he's backing a manager, which is exactly what he's doing. And backing this manager isn't about going out and spending 80 million quid on a player. Postecoglou's already told us he's not interested in that. He's told us that the difference in quality between a 100 million player and a 50 million player is really small, but the difference in mentality is everything. If you get the right guy, if he's 20 million, if he's 17 million like Vicario rather than the 35 million of David Raya, then great, fine. But the motivating thing there is not the price, it was the player. We didn't go for a cheap option, we went for the best option. And I don't think I can remember in living memory a time where we have approached a transfer window as quickly and as effectively as this transfer window. 11 days in, and we've basically solved the two things we had to solve, and anything more now will be, a bonus.
Alf, I want to come back to you about the Timo Werner, but the one thing that I feel that we're seeing with Spurs, and sorry Arsenal fans if you want to chuck fruit at us, but by all means, Arsenal were in a similar position last season. They were top of the league. January transfer window comes, and they brought in Kivior. And I said to them, you had an opportunity to take your date to Nando's, and you decided to go to Dixie Fried Chicken. I would go as far as to say, Tottenham are going for broke here. We had an opportunity to take our date to Nando's, and we said, the hell with Nando's. We're going to the Dorchester, mate. We are absolutely knocking on the door. And I say this because Ange was told, how do you feel about being 1 point off the top four? And he went, 1 point off the top four? Well, 3 points off the top, mate. He's looking forward, and I think these transfers is an indication that he wants to go forward. And I said recently that the Timo Werner, why I'm so excited about the Werner deal, when I heard about it, I was excited. Everyone wanted to bring up his goal ratio at Chelsea. He misses open goals. But if you remember Werner at Leipzig, I remember Mo Salah when he was at Basel, because Basel played Spurs in the Europa League or Champions League. I can't remember which one. Someone in the chat, please remind me. And I said, this guy, Salah, is sourcing. Salah then gets bought by Chelsea. I'm like, why didn't Tottenham go for Salah? Salah leaves, comes back, and the rest is history. Timo Werner, if we get it right, is it fair to say that he could be Mo Salah-like for Spurs? Because in this system, with his speed, if it clicks, what he could take this league by storm. Now, a lot of people are not seeing it. Zeus is looking at me like, have you ate a couple of peanuts there? You got a bit bonkers. But if it does work, Werner could be our version of Mo Salah. So I'm going back to you on that signing, Arthur, and then Zeus.
Yeah, I mean, but I suppose he could be, but for it to be worth 15 million quid to buy him, he only has to be like the next Aaron Lennon. Like, it would still be a good deal. Do you know what I mean? Like, the deal is what makes it so good for us as a club. But what makes it exciting is that clearly Postecoglou wanted him. Clearly, this is why we got him so quick. Yeah. And he's getting he's building a squad of players who each individually do certain things brilliantly well. Like, it feels like he's like moneyballing it. Do you know what I mean? It feels like it feels like there's a proper plan here. Okay, we're losing Sonny for the Asian Cup, maybe until mid-Feb, and also we need more pace. Let's just get a player that breaks the line. Let's just get a player that forces defenders, ask some questions, gets a few penalties, gets a ball in the box, whatever. Just options. Like, if you looked at our bench against Burnley with all the injuries and suspensions and people gone off to their tournaments or whatever, like, he would have, coming off that bench, he would have impacted that game, no doubt. The options, we just didn't have the options. So he just suddenly gives us this option. And I think, comparing him to what he did at Chelsea, I think we've got to remember that we've got him for a different reason that Chelsea got him. They bought him to be their number 9, their guy in the middle to score goals. That's not what he's been bought to do. He's not been brought in to do that for Spurs. He's been brought in to get that out of Richarlison. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Get that out of the other guys. So I think it's a top bit business. I'm really excited about it.
Brilliant. Zeus.
Similar sentiments in terms of why we brought him to the club, right? The main thing. No, let's not go there. That would be a huge bonus. That would be a bonus. The main thing is pace. We need pace on the wing, guaranteed pace on the wing, and he's not lost that. He's not going to lose that. So we've got pace on the wings. He's played number 9, obviously, so at least that gives us some variation in the attack. But I believe the first team is going to be Son as the 9 and him on the left, and Johnson on the right, or cool, but it says Johnson.
He's got a bit of right.
That is a scary attack, for defenders to deal with. It's just pace. How are we going to deal with these guys? Maybe they start crisscrossing and changing positions. That's that's a very scary thought for defenders. So that, to me, that's where we should be. That's the base. If he starts, if it turns to be Mo Salah-like, and he starts, chipping in crazy goals and even if he gives us, how many games left? 19. If he gives us like 7 goals, that would be incredible, right? Like from someone like that, like potentially, like this is such a great business deal. Like how many players can you get for 15 million? Like like none, right? I guess Eric Dyer is out of contract, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just incredible, right? That someone that went from 50, I think Leipzig got him for 30, and we could have him potentially for 17 or something, or 15. And all we really want from him is pace. That's what I think the ask is. It's not come in here and bang like a goal every game or something. It's just run around and trouble defenders, which I'm pretty sure you can still do that.
Yeah, 100%. Just picking up on some point. What's the point is talking about some other players that if Spurs were to do it. I mean, I don't see this happening in the January transfer window, but they are good. I did like the Alex Scott kid from Bournemouth, Archie Gray, Joe Bellingham, potential England talent that we can bring in. I think under this manager, I think all of those sorts of players would want to come and join our club and join in with the project. The one positive thing is everybody wants to join. After this, it's like Postecoglou has this thing where he just knows how to seduce players, because all of them talk about, he spoke to me and I just knew I needed to be here. How many times is he going to explain what he's going to do with a player, and that just does it for them? I mean, I was thinking, really? Because Dragusin, if Romero's fit and Van der Ven's fit, in theory, you don't play. So, I don't know how he's swindling these guys, but clearly he's a man with many lyrical talents there.
No, I think he actually, players improve under him, like understandably. Like there's Porro, there was question marks around him. Now everyone's he's great, and that Tottenham TV chat with like 100 people in it. It's all like, wow, Porro, best in the league, top right back. You didn't see that before. Udogie, Van der Ven, when they came in, they were saucing, to use your phrase.
That's
like there was no I had serious question marks. These are guys who are starting in the league for the first time, Premier League, toughest league in the world, and they were right up there, top notch. Royale becoming a reliable center back.
I don't mind him. Mind him as a center back. Yeah.
Even before he got injured, Perisic, who we were, Conte player through and through, we're like, this guy is useless. He was playing well under Ange. So it's just these players play well under him, which I think that's what you want, especially as a young player, young center back. And I'm sure that's kind of what Dragusin, that was part of a lot of the reason why he signed. He's like, I'm going to get better as a player.
Yeah, and I talked at the beginning of the season that I did it at a midway point. I think I was with you, Zeus, and I said in my Premier League 11 of the season so far, I had about 6 Spurs players. I think the thing that kind of surprised me, and is that Paul Merson did his Premier League 11 of the season so far, and he had 4 Spurs players in there. You know what I mean? And even Jamie Carragher had about 3 in his 11. Like Tottenham players are the majority players in people's Premier League 11s. And no, people are not mugs. They can see it. Your dog has pretty much got that left-hand side covered. Vicario's got the goalkeeping side covered. Paul Merson talked about Van der Ven would have been there if not for his injury. We know that Madders is there. We know that Son is there. I mean, really and truly, you talked about title challenge. Those are the reasons why you can't write off Tottenham Hotspur. And if we go on a crazy run, we're definitely going to be in and around But look, I think we've had a good conversation about Spurs and the transfer window. It is exciting times. We're looking like we want to bring in a midfielder. I don't give a damn who in Ange we trust. We know that whatever business he's going to do is going to be the right business for our club. But the thing is, at the moment, is that we are without Bissouma. We're without Pape Sarr, who was sourcing, and I'm glad he's able to go and represent his country. And we haven't got Son. I just want to say, whatever the medical team is doing in the background, big up to the medical team at Spurs, because literally Postecoglou has come from the dead. But we've got 4 tough games ahead of us, guys. We've got Manchester United this weekend. Then we've got Brentford at home. Then we are away to who? I think we are away to...
Might be Brighton.
Yeah, it is. No, we've got Brighton at home, haven't we?
We've got Brighton at home,
Everton.
but we're away to someone. No, Everton, yeah, we're away to Everton, and then we've got Brighton at home. So I think we're at that point in the conversation where we got to start unpicking. And let's start with this weekend's match against Manchester United. If we had done this show on Saturday, I would be giving you different predictions for the game this weekend. However, Thursday evening is slightly changed. But I'm going to kick off with you, Arthur. What's your prediction for the United game?
It's a tough one. Like, I want nothing more than for us to just go there and put our foot on their necks and just kill them. I just want... I think they're there. I genuinely think they're there for the taking. And I think there's so much positive like vibes around Spurs because the beginning of the transfer window and all that kind of stuff. I think we can go there and smash them. I do. I think we can. I think it's going to be 3-1 to us. It's bold. It's but I think that's we've got that in us.
At Old Trafford.
At Old Trafford, yeah. I don't think that we've performed consistently well home and away. Yeah. I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but we haven't. You know, the games that have been really disappointing have been losing to Chelsea at home, West Ham at home, Villa at home. We had a really poor run at home, poor run of results. I know we lost to Brighton away, but I feel like that might have been the only away game we've actually lost. So I'm not too concerned about that.
We've only lost 5 games,
Yeah, and if we get at them and they're at the back and they're on the back foot, we score early, then Old Trafford can turn into a right kind of shithole, basically. The atmosphere can really go when they're not liking what they see from their team. So if we can get at them, I think we can turn it to our advantage.
Fair play. Zeus?
It's a tricky one still.
It's a tricky one still.
Do you know where that's from? I'll show you.
Oh, you do? Family.
Yeah, that thing is hilarious. But yeah, no. So it's tricky because it's we've got some new signings and in terms of time to bed in and all that. So there's that, but also some of the injured might be returning. So Van de Ven I think he's training again, so he's definitely in contention. Maddison might, but I haven't heard of him being back in training. So problematic.
There's a chance that Romero is actually.
Yeah, Romero too, right? Just Dragusin get a start. So there's a lot of, if the center back pairing is, let's say, if Royal starts in center back, I'm worried. I think we'll get something out of the game, like a draw for sure, at least. But it depends on who's starting. And I know, I think Onana he's missing that game. Is he playing?
That's his last game.
That's his last game. I think.
He's been given allowance to play 2 games in 2 days. He's
not sure what difference it's going to make. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. I think we'll get something out of that game. So I would say a draw. Yeah, out of that game in particular. But if I see, if I see the sheet and Dragusin starts and Van de Ven starts and Maddison starts, then it's going to be like 4-1 to us or something. But, let's say worst case scenario with walking wounded, that sort of thing. I would say a draw, like a 2-2 draw. Yeah. Werner scoring both or something crazy like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's what Manchester United team turns up on the day. I know they've been woeful, but I mean, they did put in a good performance against Aston Villa. They were 2-0 down and they managed to turn it around. If we get that Manchester United, I think it will be difficult. If we get the Manchester United that played against Bournemouth or Nottingham, you know what I mean, or Nottingham Forest, then I think we slap them all over. And the only reason why I'm a little bit hesitant is because maybe I'm just not giving our midfield the props that it deserves. I feel like Bentancur's been playing, but he doesn't look fully fit, in my opinion. I felt like he did us a favor, but I feel like he's not fully recovered from the injury. If he's fully recovered, Bentancur is sourcing. There's no Pape Sarr there. I think in the last game we had Skip, and you could just see the difference in quality. In fact, when Skip came on, there was like a gaping hole in that midfield. And I just feel like Manchester United, with all the pressure that they're going through at the moment, they might exploit that with the kind of high energy, high press that they're going to give us. So I think the midfield three will be Bentancur. I was surprised that Højbjerg doesn't start over Skip. I can't quite work out why. So it's likely to be Skip, and it's going to be Lo Celso. No, and I feel like they just haven't played enough. No, it's likely to be Kulusevski, actually. Kulusevski, Bentancur, and Skip. But I
think he might go for Højbjerg in this game.
I think we need a Højbjerg. I think we do.
I think he might do that because I think Skip really. I mean, I like Skip, but I don't think he's long term for this sort of system. But if he's in this system at all, I think he's a number 6, and he's much lesser a number 6 than Bentancur or certainly Bissouma. So I think he's a little bit of a headless chicken as number 8, to be honest. Lots of energy, but he's not cute enough on the ball. I don't think it's not composed enough.
I'm hearing that Lo Celso's injured from Lionheart and Jonas. So if Lo Celso's injured, then it will be Kulusevski, Bentancur, hopefully Højbjerg, with a back line of Udogie, Porro. And then what, does Van der Ven start, or do we leave Ben Davies there? Does he start? Because he's back.
Davies is injured.
And then Dragusin. Who?
Davies is injured.
Davies is injured. Oh my days! What the hell?
I think Van der Ven starts. I think he starts. He was ready to play minutes against Burnley. Postecoglou said that was the plan, but because the game went the way it did, they brought on an attacker. So I think it's been, 9 days between the games or whatever. Yeah. So I think he starts, I reckon.
Sorry, Jonas and Lionheart. I'm off the boil tonight with all the kind of injury updates. I think Timo Werner starts on the left, Richarlison up top, Kulusevski in that number 10. And I never want to see Brennan Johnson on the left-hand side ever again. He's absolutely woeful. But he does get into good positions, and that's because of the system. And that's why I feel that I can shake my bum for the Timo Werner, because I feel like if we create the same opportunities that Brennan Johnson finds himself in and doesn't complete, Timo Werner will complete. Because I just feel like, I just didn't like Brennan Johnson on the left side. So look, I think if anything, if we start with that lineup, we could win 2-1. But if Man United turn up like the way they did against Aston Villa, I think it could be a draw. They might even sneak a win. So I'm indifferent on this.
Would you give Dragusin a debut after only like one training session?
I think so, man. Because we play a higher line anyway, I think you do. I mean, it's a shame for Emerson Royale, but I think we got to go in with someone who is a comfortable centre-back. And because we're probably going to have more ball possession, I think you can bed them in. If we were doing the Conte system, I wouldn't. But because we're going to have the ball a lot more than United, I think you can. Arthur, can I just speed things up a little because I'm just conscious of time? What is your prediction for the next 4 games in total? So how many points do you think we're going to take? Remember the game against Brentford. Remember the Everton game. We were quite lucky. And remember, I actually think we genuinely got slapped up by Brighton.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm going confident. I'm going 10. I think we'll beat United. I think we'll beat Brentford. I think we'll draw at Everton and we'll beat Brighton at home.
Wow. I'm staring at you, Arthur. I'm actually looking at you in your eyeballs. That is a big pumping of chest. Arthur's going 10. Zeus, I could hear you kind of nodding. in a bit of doubt there. What's the problem with his prediction?
I mean, I'm usually just on the conservative side of things, but I can see a loss there. I think we're going to. I now that I look at it, the four lined up, I think it could be the United game, to be honest. But I think from then on, Maddison is back. The new players have hopefully settled in. Then we're flying. We're smashing teams. I know we're gonna kill Brighton like that. They had a good showing when we went to their ground. But I think with Maddison, he should be back there fully. So we'll smash them. Everton have gone off the boil since the 10
since they played us. I think
since they played up, like they it's like they play well, but they lose a lot. So I'm not really rating them. So I Brentford too. I'm not rating this season. So I think I'm gonna go with 9. I'm gonna go with 9. With one loss, and now it's safe from everyone.
Arthur's got 10. Zeus has got 9. Jeez. Okay. Look, for me, I do think the United game is a dodgy game. I don't know why. I'm not settled. And maybe that's because we don't have Madders and we don't have Son. Had we had Madders and Son, we'll be going there to hit these guys for double figures. If we can get through the United game with a win, the Brighton game, the one thing that did happen is the second half when he brought on Lo Celso and Brian Gil, that's when we actually looked quite decent. Yeah. But what I will say is that we couldn't handle their press at the back. But with Van der Ven and Romero or Dragusin, because I think this game is pretty much like towards the end of Feb, if my memory serves me right.
10th of Feb.
10th of Feb, sorry.
We might have Son back.
We might have Son back.
We might do.
But we won't have Start. We could even
probably have Basuma back because I don't think. Well, Mali, how far are they going to get? That's another conversation.
They don't have a bad team, Mali, this time around, though. That's the problem.
But Senegal will get quite far, won't they?
Yeah, Senegal are going to go far. They're my favourites to win it. Guys, I'm going to go with... The thing is, when I say these points, it sounds good when we're doing the show. But I'm not going to lie. In the reality, when we draw, I was pissed off. I was pissed when we lost to Brighton. I was hurting for days. So I don't like the idea of 9 points because it means we would have lost the game. So I'm going to go with 10. I'm going 10. Arthur, did you say where we were going to drop points with your 10?
I thought we'd get a draw at Everton.
No, we slap up Everton.
Well, get a draw at United then. But yeah, I don't know. That will be a couple of more games in. So either Everton will be in more of a sticky spot, and Sean Dyche is good at dealing with sticky spots, or they'd have picked up a bit of a run and they'll be on it again. And that's at their house. It's at their gaff. So I don't know. It's not. That's where I think we're most likely to drop a point. To be honest,
I'm gonna say Zeus gone. Where are we dropping points? You said 9.
I said
you've always got to give us an L. What's your problem, man?
Conservative, man. The Conte killed me, So I always just lower.
Or are you suggesting 3? Nice. It doesn't even do the maths. You're suggesting we lose to. Who do we lose to then?
United.
This guy. I'm telling you this. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cheat a little bit, guys. I'm sorry to cheat. Because Lionheart is giving me 12 points. Jonas is giving me 12. I'm shaking my bum violently. Let's be united. I'm going to go 12 points. My head is saying 12. My heart is saying 12. My head is saying 10. And I'll explain. If we're going to draw, I think we're going to draw against United. Even though that United team is royally dusty, they are one of the worst in fact, the worst United team I've ever seen in my life. If they get on the spirit of the Aston Villa, and because of our midfield and the new players and all of that, Timo Werner just getting to know the lads, Dragusin just getting to know the lads, that might just favour United, whose team is a stable team. They've not brought anyone in But if we get the win, I think we build momentum and we get the 12 points. That's what I think. Right. So win against United, it's 12 points. Draw against United, it's 10 points. I think we slap up Brighton because we almost bloody got a draw in that bloody game, and we had everybody suffering. Everton, we always beat Everton. Brentford, we always beat Brentford. Well, we don't, but we do kind of. So brilliant, guys. So we're optimistic, and if we get those points, Arthur, are you saying then Spurs are in the title challenge? Are you gonna come out here live? There's the receipts tonight. You can't get away with it. We are. This is for life. So be careful what you say. All right? Are we in the title challenge if we get 9 to 10 points?
Yeah. I mean, like I it's not really my style to talk about title challenges because I just don't think that's what we're doing. I'm really like, I'm really into the Postecoglou way of looking at things, which is just, you don't look too far ahead. If you're talking just factually, if you've played like 24 games and you're in 1 or 2 points at the top, it's inarguable you're in a title race. You might have the opinion of going, oh, you won't hold it out, or you'll bottle it, or you don't have a deep enough squad. But at that moment in time, you are obviously in a title race. And therefore, we are in a title race now because 20 games in, we've still got to play the teams like Liverpool and Man City. We've still got to play those teams again. And Liverpool, I think, are 6 points ahead of us now. They've still got to play each other. Like, points will be dropped. So I'm not predicting we'll win the league, but our games, our performances and our points impact everyone else at the top of the league, which means we're in a title race. We are impacting the title race. We're in it. Definitely.
I love it. I love it, mate. With chest as well. I love it. We're in there, baby. We're in there. You've heard from Zeus. Why are you smiling? Why aren't you smiling?
Well, I'm happy. I'm thinking, like, if we get through this run of games with good results, like, we're in it. Like, there's no way you can't say that's 23 games played by then, or is it 24? Around there?
24, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, holy shit! Like, we've been through the shits, and we're there. Like, we've had crazy injuries, and we're there. Like, we're part of. I mean, hopefully these things tend to even out. Other teams, they have their big injuries, and then it's like, wow, Spurs are in pole position for, challenging for the league. So it just occurred to me. I was like, holy crap! If 9 to 12 points this next 4 games, we're in a genuine title race.
Yeah. The other thing as well, though, is that if we get good results against Man United and Brighton, the gap between us and what's beneath us just gets bigger because they're not close to us, but there's already a bit of a 4-point gap or a 5-point gap between us and West Ham. Yeah. So that's also important if 5th place gets Champions League, because actually, beat United, beat Brighton, West Ham drop a few points. We're actually, that gap is quite big.
That's right. We need that gap. I just want to say to AFC always, he says, for Arsenal fans, they were top of the league for 93% of the season, and they bottled it big time. Yeah, AFC, we're not Arsenal. Again, you know what I mean? We're just a different kettle of fish under Postecoglou. You wish you had our manager, but you're right. You guys were there, but we ain't doing the same thing. Remember, you brought in Kivior. We've just brought in Dragusin and Timo Werner. Timo Werner is going to do better at Tottenham than Kai Havertz is at Arsenal. So just know that and hold that for a moment. Quickly, guys.
What did bring in for the title last season?
Say that again.
Who did Arsenal bring in?
They brought in Kivior during the January transfer window, and they brought in another fella whose name I can't.
Trossard? Was it Trossard? I think they brought Trossard.
They did bring in Trossard. I think they did bring in Trossard.
Was that in the January? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they brought in Jorginho,
yeah. But who's Kivior? What's the first one?
Kivior is exactly. Who is Kivior? That's a good question. He's a defender. He's a defender for Arsenal, and he's shocking. He's absolute.
I've never heard of this guy.
And these Arsenal fans were shaking their bum. Right, we got Kivior in defense. Now they don't even want to see the fella. That's the funniest thing. But quickly, guys, just before we wrap up.
Jonas is cracking up, saying that Arteta is on borrowed time. That's funny.
He's definitely on borrowed time. We Talk Football says, yo, Deji, big up yourself. Count Dragula ready to bite them. Yeah, man, he's ready to take their heads off. He's from, let me tell you, Dragusin's from where I'm from. Yeah, he's from, is it Transylvania? You know, like that. Yeah, yeah, Count Dracula. He's ready to take off heads and drink blood on that pitch. But just quickly, I think Zeus, is it fair to say that Gary Mabbott, did he flop us or did he do Spurs a favour? I've come out publicly to say I wish we could play City every week. It was kind of like a joke in a sense, but we do get a result against City. Are you? I thought we could genuinely win the FA Cup. Is it we beat City, we win the FA Cup? Is that what we're saying? Sorry, Arthur, I know you don't like those kind of predictions, but I love.
No, I do it for the FA Cup. That's a different thing.
Okay, so for the FA Cup, beat City, we win the FA Cup. Is that what we're saying? Because I didn't like the draw. Why couldn't we get Ipswich? Why couldn't we get one of the kind of lowly teams? And we've ended up with bloody City. So I'm going with you, Zeus, and then I'm going with Arthur before we finish off.
I mean, yeah, they're our bogey team, or is it where their bogey team? I never know which one is which. But it's still City, man. It's still a tough team. Yeah, I wish it had come later as opposed to now. Like, it's a tough game. You know, we could have gotten, like you said, one of these like I don't
minnows.
Know. Yeah, minnow, someone in Div 2 or something, and give guys like a fair bit a run out. Maybe. Well, we've lost Philip right now, but you know, like just have guys play and get game time. Like this is, I mean, yeah, it's too sexy of a feature to be happening this early. I'm not happy about it one bit.
Yeah,
I'm really happy about it.
What?
Yeah, look, I obviously, yeah, it's not even that we have because we have a great record against City. It's because it's not like a free hit. Obviously, we should be aiming to win, but we've got them at home. Yeah. I don't think if we beat City, we win the FA Cup. I would rather play City than play Chelsea or Liverpool. Not because Chelsea are a better team than City, but because we lose our heads against Chelsea and we've got some. Yeah. And I don't really want to have to deal with that again this season. I'm still kind of getting over the trauma of the last one. Yeah. Liverpool, I rate against us more than City against us. You know, in terms of who we struggle against. Yeah. So, you know, and there aren't loads of easy ones in the draw. There were a few, but I would rather come up against City, who we would have to come up against, a City, a Liverpool, a Chelsea, a tough game. I would rather come up against them sooner and at home when they've got an important Champions League game just around the corner, you know, and our players are just coming back from fitness or whatever. I'd rather do that, and then rather than meet them like in the quarters or the semis and then get knocked out because it's all a bit more important. They're taking it more seriously or whatever. So I think we're gonna have to beat a team like that if we're going to win the thing. So get it done now and then give us confidence.
Yeah. And sorry, I did say, but you know, every 4 games things change quickly, and Jonas kind of is taking your point. I think it's a fair point. If you're going to go out and you lose to City, I'm not suggesting Spurs is going up by any chance, but if you do lose to City and go out of the FA Cup, it is against the best team in the world. Do you know what I mean? So that's quite respectable. Arthur and Zeus, have your opinions changed in terms of where we could finish? You can say yes or no, or if you do say no, if you do say yes, actually, just quickly, 1 minute. Sorry, Arthur, quickly. Has your opinions changed?
I think I remember saying I think we'll finish in the top 4, and I still do. I don't predict we'll win the league, but I think we'll finish in the top 4, and that's amazing.
That's absolutely fantastic. Zeus, where do you think has your predictions changed?
Yeah, considerably. I mean, all I wanted was good football. Now it's like guaranteed Europe. Like Europe is guaranteed. And I kind of had this progression thing. Like first season, good football. Next season, 1 cup or 2. No, 1 cup. Next, I think it was like a big trophy. The next, it was like the triple or the double or something. But that's way advanced. I think like 2 trophies is crazy, but 1 trophy this season is possible. Yeah, very possible. 1 trophy this season is possible.
But you're not predicting which one. You're just saying 1 is possible.
I mean, the league or FA Cup, right? 1 is possible.
speaking my feng shui. Look, as for me,
I'd love to win the FA. Obviously, I'd love to win the league, but in some ways, if I could predict the future and choose, I'd rather win the FA Cup this season and win the league next season and go far in the Champions League. I'd love to see that
kind of progression.
Yeah,
I like that.
The FA Cup, it kind of feels sort of like an Ange Postecoglou Cup. Like, here's a guy who's would have been watching old FA Cup games when he was a kid in Australia, catching all of that. He would have been completely immersed in that kind of glory and the mystery of it. He's like an old school manager like that. You know? He makes me think all the times you saw Alex Ferguson lift the FA Cup, it feels like of all the managers in the game at the moment, the manager is most like Alex Ferguson is Postecoglou.
I think I agree. The only thing I will say why I'm going to go for broke, and Zeus knows where I'm coming from, is I think if there's any season that you can win the Prem, I think it is this season, man. The fact that we're 6 points off the top with all the kind of injuries and suspensions, let's be real, Arsenal ain't winning it. They're a dusty team. They've already lost 4 times. Liverpool, I think, are going to go through their little run because it's guaranteed to happen. And Man City, they're not sourcing the way they're sourcing. Let's not get carried away because they beat Huddersfield 5-0. I wasn't being fooled by nobody. That's bloody Huddersfield. I mean, me and Arthur know Huddersfield quite well. There's nothing there. Nothing. So in terms of the league and how things are, usually there's somebody that is sourcing, running away with it. No one is. And we're still kind of amongst them with all the madness, and now everyone's coming back. I agree. I would like the FA Cup, but if the league is there for the taking, we don't have to follow the rules. We can break the rules under Postecoglou. And if it means him coming in and in his first season winning the Prem, hey, I'll accept that. There's no guarantee we can go on and win it next season with everyone strengthening and all of that. So if it's there and you can see the hole, I say go in and grab it and take it. So
just remember, so far most of what has happened previously at Postecoglou's clubs, in his previous clubs, is happening with us mostly. Although we're doing better than most than at the same time the other clubs. But the thing that really kicks off in every single club that he's been on is the second season. They fucking smashed it. Every single club.
Because I'm shaking my bum for this guy already.
That's also, I think, why we're doing business now in January. Of course, we need cover at centre-back, but now we've got a centre-back who will play a few games, get some minutes for the rest of the season, but then we'll be there ready for pre-season. You know, getting work done, getting business done that we can do in January is actually thinking about the summer as well. I'm so excited for the rest of the season, obviously, but next season we could be cooking.
Well, you heard it here first, everyone. The Blueprint, episode 3. What a pleasure. AFC always is taking cheap shots at me, saying I look like Wesley Snipes. Well, I don't mind if you send me the money. I can do a little tribute show for Wesley all day long. New Jack City, are you my brother's keeper? Jonas says facts. I think Postecoglou is aiming for the title. Damn right, I think he is. Pep will be coming in hard. His only wish is to score a goal at Spurs. I am hoping that Arthur is right, Zeus is right, that actually we slap up Man City. And I hope we can maintain the 100% record, which is that City doesn't score in our gap. Look, everyone, thanks for joining. Anthony Herbert, Lionheart, here today, Jonas, AFC always, everybody that's been in there. We talk football. Thank you for joining. If I've missed you out, I do apologize. And that ends it. Enjoy. There will be another show later on tonight, Spurs menu preview. But for now, we are out.
Dano, yeah, yeah. Dano, yeah. Dano, yeah. Dano, it's a vibe. Dano, it's a vibe. Dano, yeah. Dano, it's a vibe. Dano, the juice poured up, and I know it's a vibe. Like rolling with a man, I'm vibe. Said I need more drink inside of me.